So this might be a little bit unorthodox. This is a video question for the Justicar. Um, I subscribed to you a while back when you put out a video titled "In Response to Aaron Ra's Homily," that feminist rant he did, and I really liked you, and I subscribed to you, and I've liked you a lot since. And I've especially appreciated how you don't pull any punches, and your wealth of knowledge about law and constitutional law, and your experience as a police officer and a veteran in the military has allowed you to kick the ever loving shit out of lots of people I'm a massive fan of whenever they step out of line and kind of pull stuff out of their ass. And I just kind of wanted to ask you a question based on your expertise. I'm not very knowledgeable in this subject, which is kind of why I wanted to ask you in an unorthodox way. How do you feel about I guess perhaps just increasing coverage of, or perhaps escalation of, police brutality and use of excessive force in this country? Now, outside of my personal experience, I see a lot of news coverage of cops just shooting the fuck out of people, and a lot of times, um, the media, at least the media coverage of the event, shows extensive, inarguable, in context or in portrayal, use of excessive force and what looks like just plain murder, like what happened in Albuquerque. 19-year-old schizophrenic gets shot to death while being pinned on the ground after having already been repeatedly tased. Wife films her husband getting beat to death by police, who were called on their daughter, and just because he refused to show a cop identification and then was a little bit too belligerent when they wanted to arrest him for refusing to show identification, they beat him to death right in front of his wife. Now, I live in Florida. I have no criminal record. I've never been charged with a violent crime. I think, like in high school, I was charged with truancy, which is a crime in Texas. It's a misdemeanor, and that's it. But there's been four separate occasions where I've had guns in my face uh, by police officers down here, and police officers do shoot people down here, and just people shoot people down here. Now, I'm pretty much neutral. I have no preference one way or another on gun rights, but I understand what the Constitution says about that and what you think about that. And I'm not so much worried about that as I wanted to ask you, what do you know about police procedure, at least while you were on the force? And when cops get a call about a suspicious vehicle or kids shooting cans in their backyard with BB guns, or when you just get stopped on the street, and I guess maybe the third time that I've had guns pointed in my face was that apparently I matched the description of somebody, and I was just walking down the sidewalk. Now, look, I know what happens to people, and also I've had a lot of run-ins with police just from being around people who had the cops called on in my youth. And usually I immediately, my hands are where they can see them. I don't have my hands in my pocket. I don't reach for anything. I don't move. I don't make any sudden movements. I'm yes sir, no sir. I speak when spoken to. And a couple of times that might have been the difference between me not getting shot. I remember one time me and my friend were parked waiting for somebody to come pick us up to drive us to the gas station because we were out of gas, because poor college students who spend all their money on beer. And apparently we were parked in private property. We thought it was a public parking lot, and we were just backed into one of the back spaces. The cops drive straight up, almost rammed the vehicle. We're parked, car's not on, and there's two police officers, one in the driver's seat, one in the passenger seat, and they're both out Glock 40s right through the windshield, and our hands just went straight up. And sometimes I wonder, like, hey, what if I had back talked a little bit, or what if I had not been white? Um, would I get shot in the back, like that kid in that college campus? I think was it in Oklahoma or Texas. So I know this is a little bit of a long question with a lot of qualifiers. I'm not really biased one way or another, but I do think that it's a problem. And from my, limited knowledge, it sounds like it's a problem at the procedural level, that these cops are trained to be terrified of people and to rush to overwhelming force. at the risk of citizens' safety, rather than risk for even a single second what's something that's just kind of in their job description, which is to occasionally face violent situations. So I guess that's the real question. I'm sorry it took so long, but it's just really, are you for, against, or neutral to cops just rushing straight to tasing little old ladies? That's happened. Shooting 150-pound or 130-pound kids in the presence of 9 other cops, or mercilessly beating a guy to death. And the two instances are on video: the wife videotaping her husband getting killed, and the situation with the Albuquerque police, who were, I believe, just found in a report of being guilty of using extremely excessive force and fatally shooting that homeless man. That they were obviously, for the sake of the camera there, whether it was in one of their helmet cams or was somebody filming them, that they're saying like, "Oh, stop resisting." The guy was dead. Or when they stick the canine on him, he's not sticking his hands out. You just shot him to death with a submachine gun on camera. He's not putting his hands behind his back because he's fucking dead. So I just want to know what you think about that. I love your stuff, Justicar. Thanks.